All right, we're back. And this is about to be an exciting video because this is what we've all been waiting for. So, if you joined last time, we went over like a lot of different things. We went over like functions and methods, and we learned a lot. So, we played with code in the few episodes before that, and that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the code that we built a couple episodes back. This was our magic potion code. And in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to actually affect our Fortnite character's health. So this will help you to actually build games now. We're going to go from out of practice into reality. So the first thing that we can do is we can take all of this code, everything that's underneath on, this comment. We could say this comment. We can leave this comment. But everything under this comment, we need to get rid of it. So let's delete everything. All the way up to do replace this with your own code. Cool. I know, we spent a lot of time on that code and maybe you guys love it, but we gotta delete it for now. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're gonna do is we gotta update the lines at the top here. So there's some lines at the top, and we have to add a few here. Now, in this, what we're doing this time, you might not understand anything. You might not understand. You might be really, really confused on this one, but it's okay because what we're doing is we're just practicing how to call functions and methods. So they're gonna just like the Unreal Engine documentation. They've given us some methods to call. Some of them we haven't even talked about before. So that's what you're about to see here. But these lines at the top here, using Fortnite.com devices, using /verse.org simulation, we have to add some things to that. So let's add some lines like using, here we go. Using, and then just like they did, put a space and a curly bracket, and then put a space and a /, and we're going to say Fortnite.com characters. So just like I'm typing in, Fortnite.com/characters. And then you want to put a space and then that bracket, just like they have it there. Now that's the first one. We need to add in another one. We need to add in two more. So we'll say using, just like there, put a curly bracket, and we'll say /Fortnite.com, and we want play spaces this time. /play spaces. And then put a space and end your curly bracket. And then we need one more. So let's get one more of these. And the one that we're going to add here is going to be using so just using again, curly bracket, / this time we're going to say verse, and we're going to say verse.org actually. So verse.org, and then we'll say /verse, and then you can put a space and then you can end it. Now these lines, basically, they tell the computer which parts, or the compiler, they tell our compiler when we compile it down, which parts of the built-in verse in the Fortnite code that we're going to be using in this code that we're about to write. So we're about to be using a lot of these things from these different libraries, pretty much. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do now is to write some code so that our Fortnite character, when we launch the game this time, will be affected, so we can really control their health. All right, so the code that it tells us to write is, let's call a function named getPlaySpace, and it returns a value of a type called fort_playspace, which we're going to save to a constant name playspace. So we're going to need to do this to get players. So the first thing we'll do is we'll write playspace like this. So playspace, this is our constant. So we'll put a colon and then a space, and then the type that it told us to use was fort underscore play space. Yep. So there it goes right there. And then what we do is we'll press equals, and then we'll press the space, and we'll say get play space, and we'll call that function. Oh, it's actually lowercase. And there you go. That's how you call the function. So basically we just call that function. Now, the second step that it's going to ask us to do, it says we need to call a method named getPlayers on the constant play space. Now, if you remember from the last episode how to call a method, it's a different way than we just called this function. The method's going to return an array of a type player. Now, we don't know what an array is. We haven't gone over that, but maybe if you use Fortnite already, not Fortnite, if you use Unreal already, you may know what an array is. But if you don't, an array is a container that can hold multiple variables of the same type in verse. So in this case, the all players array is going to be holding all the players in the level. So that's what we're about to type out here. So what you should do is follow me here and just type out this. So type out capital all players, colon, space. And then what you're going to do is type these straight brackets, not the curly ones this time, sorry. So the straight ones, these right here. And right beside those, you're going to type player, because you're getting the array right there from player. And then beside that, you're going to say it equals play space. That's the constant. Remember, now we're calling a method this time, so you have to call the constant first in a method. So you say it's play space dot get players, and then there you go, just like that. So we just called a method. So now it's going to ask us to do something else. So we already learned that we can use the if to ask yes or no questions in the code. In this example, we're going to use the if to ask if there's a variable at the first position of all players array. So at this all players array, we need to know if there's a variable at position 0. So if you know arrays start with 0 and then they go to 1, 2, 3. So the first position in an array is always going to be 0. So it's asking us to ask, so we need to do an if statement. The expression all players 0 will return the value of the variable at the position if it exists, and the constant first player will get initialized to the return value. So what we need to write for this one then is write this, just if, and then we'll put the space and we'll say first player, and then put a colon, space colon, and then put player, and then put space equals all players. There it goes. And then put the straight brackets, but put a 0 inside of the straight brackets, because we want to get the 0 position from this array. Okay, cool. And then after that, you need to put a colon, because it's an if statement right here. So everything should be perfect right there. Now on the next one is saying a second if. So we need to put another if. It's going to be nested within this first one, asking if the first player constant has a Fortnite character by calling its method get Fortnite character with some square brackets. Now these square brackets are going to be used to call a function that can fail, and that's why we're using an if to call this function. So if get Fortnite character succeeds in returning a value type Fortnite character, the constant Fortnite character is initiated to the value. Like a lot of that was like blah 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 blah. What? If you knew what that means already, you're a genius, bro, because I have no idea. So what we'll do is press enter. And now because that if, we need to nest another if inside of that. So let's press tab and say if, you can say if space Fortnite character. Fortnite character. Yep. Space colon. And then you put the space colon. Alright. And then you're gonna put the Fortnite characters, so Fortnite underscore character, Fortnite underscore character. And then space equals, and then first player. Yep, right there. Dot. And then you want to call get for fort character. So get fort character. Make sure you spell everything correctly too, because it's going to matter. And then put some straight brackets after that. Then right after the parentheses, at the end, put a colon. And you know what I did is not Fortnite character here. This is fort character. So underscore fort character. So the last part it's asking us to do is now we have a constant of type fort underscore character. And we can call its method damage. This method takes one parameter of type float. And that's going to be the amount of damage that the character will receive. So more on parameters in like a future lesson. You don't have to worry about that now. But what we need to write, the last part of this is here. So right underneath that, definitely indented, you'll say Fortnite character dot damage. And then you can put inside the damage how much you want them to take. So in this case, I'm going to put 50.0 because it's a float. Cool. You want to save this code. Now this one right up here, we may have characters. Let me go ahead and check this right quick. Here, we missed the T. There he goes. Boop. Alright, so now you save that. And what's going to happen, if you follow this, and I know it may have been confusing at sometimes, you're like, what's he talking about? I don't know what any, like, it's okay. If you just follow this and we run this, then it's going to, our Fortnite character should take 50% damage. So let's actually try that. So make sure you save. And then launch your Fortnite stuff. Like, first thing you need to do is launch your editor, and then we're gonna launch Fortnite from the editor. Alright, so now that you're in your project, all you have to do is launch your session, and then we're gonna see our code work when we play the game. So launch your session. The code should be up to date if you press save, and then we'll just wait for this to launch. Alright, so now that we're in the game, what we have to do is let's go ahead and press tab and go to my island and press start game. From here we're going to start floating, and what we should see, even we don't see, look, our Fortnite character's health went down to 50. We don't have to press the log anymore, so it's affecting the real game now. So that's all we wanted to show you in this episode, was that we can actually affect the real game now with our code. So that is really awesome, y'all. We're learning verse, and we finally got to the point where we can do stuff. So you can go play with that code and make your character's health go all kinds of ways. Just do what you feel. I don't know. But that's all we learned this time. In the next one, we're going to get a little bit more complicated and learn more things that'll help us manipulate this Fortnite character, so we can do different things with it. So thanks for joining me in this one, and I'll holla at y'all in the next one. Peace.